Jack, how does it feel to be throwing your weight behind this campaign? I suppose at clubs of this size, it comes with a nice kind of responsibility at times to try and make a difference.
Really good. I think over the course of my career, I've been very fortunate to be at some fantastic clubs that do a lot of work for charity, and I've always enjoyed being a part of it as well. I think when you're at somewhere like this, and as a player, you have a great responsibility, and you can do a lot of help and obviously raise a lot of awareness. So really happy to be involved, and a lot of money's been raised so far, and hopefully we can keep that going.
Everything's coming quite thick and fast at the moment. How do you wake up and reflect on last night?
Yeah, you're tired, disappointed on the night before, but the beauty of playing for this club is there's another opportunity coming thick and fast. An opportunity to push and try and take another step in the league, obviously where we're trying to make up ground and trying to really focus on ourselves and make sure that we can start putting a string of wins together. Obviously games like last night are tough to take, but you can't dwell on it regardless of how it feels. You've got to learn from it, move on, and we've got to deliver a win on the weekend.
How frustrating is it at the moment? Because I suppose in isolation, losing to Roma, there's maybe no sort of shame in that, but you're catching up for previous mistakes earlier on in the campaign, and which makes every game maybe feel a bit of a...
Don't look at it like that, because every game that we play is an opportunity to win. Playing against big sides like that, like we are ourselves, it's a great opportunity to get a great win. So definitely don't feel like it's a game that we can accept and mark it down as one that we don't deserve. We don't believe in that. It's an opportunity to have a fantastic European night at home, where we had great support from the fans and had a great opportunity to get a really good result. So what goes before is sort of irrelevant. It's an opportunity to win. Didn't manage to do that. So for us, it's about picking the group up as quick as we can and making sure that we go up to Dundee on Sunday and win, and look forward in the league.
How important is the league to try and make sure this doesn't unravel? We know the League Cup obviously went this week. Europe's now looking extremely difficult. Yeah. I'm not saying you can ever apply extra focus to the league, but it must feel really important that you do start making headway in that competition.
No, you can't. It's always been the ultimate and the main focus. However, it's the bread and butter. It's what's expected of you, and it's what we need to go and do. Could you say more focus? Look, we're disappointed about some of the performances in other competitions, but as far as the league goes, we have to focus on ourselves, and we've got to go and win on the weekend. That's the bottom line. Something that, as the boys start to come in today, we'll be looking to pick people up, try and be as positive as we can, and make sure that we go there full of confidence on the weekend.
Jack, just looking at the league table in the Europa League, 4 games, no points, sitting 36 out of 36. For a team that made the quarter-finals last year, for yourself, is that really hard to get your head around, that things have flipped quite so far?
Yeah, it is. It's difficult. I think it's difficult for everybody at the club. What we all hope to see, compared to where we're at, is obviously what's creating a lot of frustration, a lot of tension, and on all sides, from a fan, from staff, from players. There's obviously a massive amount of frustration in that sense. A lot's changed. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of moving parts, a lot of new players. Now that's no excuse, but it's a reality, and it's something that we need to do better with. Regardless of how that Europa League table finishes, we can't accept where we're at right now, regardless of what's happened. So it's something that we need to take personally, and something that we need to do better in the remaining 4 games and see where that takes us. Dwelling on it and putting fuel to the fire of the stats of it and how many we've lost and things like that is, it's only going to bog you down. What we need to do is focus on the next one, focus on the next game in the league, and when the next European game comes around, it's must win if we want to advance in the competition.
Just going back to Sunday last week, you're involved in a pretty high-profile incident just before half-time. Can we just get your take on that incident with Austin Trusty? Did you think it should have been a red card?
Yes, I think there's been a lot of opinions on it. At the time, I thought it was late. Was there a massive amount of malice involved? Not necessarily, but was it mistimed as a keeper when you're putting yourself in that position to go and be brave and going to intercept a ball? You'd like to think that you're protected in a sense from things like that. Seeing it afterwards, it was perhaps later than I thought in real time as well. So a difficult one to accept. I think obviously conversations that have been had since, difficult to accept that that's perhaps a precedent that is going to continue if that's a similar situation against any team, regardless of who it is. That there's a little bit disappointed that between all the staff that day from a refereeing side, that's the result that it came to. So yeah, it's one you feel as a keeper that when you're going into those situations, yes, we have the benefit of being able to use our hands and perhaps be a little bit more physical at times, but when you're entitled to go for the ball at players' feet and things like that, yes, it can be a byproduct of getting hit. That's just part and parcel of the game. But late ones and clumsy ones like that, you like to feel that there was something done a bit different. But I think the club will make a statement. I think there'll be more discussions on it, just for a few more answers. But yeah, I think I share the views of probably the majority on it.
The club has released a statement on Monday night. They've got numerous concerns over some of the refereeing decisions that went against them recently. I'm thinking back to the League Cup final against Celtic with the incident with Václav when he gets pulled in the box and it's not pulled back by VAR. Have you been frustrated with some of the high-profile decisions that have went against your team in recent seasons?
Yeah, I think it's I think it's all relative. We focus on what sort of directly affects us. Have we been disappointed with some of it? Yeah, I think we have been. All that you can ask is that regardless of how it's happened and what decisions were made at the time, that improvements are being made and ultimately the right decisions are going to get made moving forward. I'm not going to sort of put any fuel to that fire either, but we play in a competitive league. We play in a league where things can happen. And obviously with the addition of all the assistance that the referees perhaps get nowadays, that we can only hope moving forward and the right decisions get made and it stays as fair as it possibly can.
I just asked you, Jack, about the atmosphere last night. A lot of, nothing that you guys can control, but a lot of anger directed towards the director's box. As a player within that, when things aren't going well on the pitch anyway, when you add that level of toxicity, how difficult is it to sort of rally yourself as a team when there is this going on around you?
Listen, I think there's a lot of, and toxic is a very harsh word. I think there's, as we spoke about, the word frustration. I know it's one that we've said a lot. There is a lot of that because the fans expect more than what perhaps we've delivered. It's certainly how I feel. I know the group feels as well, that we definitely need to set our standards and know where we should be higher than where we are in competitions and have done better than what we have done. And the fans are entitled to vent their frustrations where they feel they're going to. It's been directed at us as players, rightly so at times. But this is our group right now, and this is what we need to move forward with. And we've got a really big stretch of games now until January where I believe if we get things moving in the right direction, and as a group we get better and learn some of the lessons that we've had recently, that we can make things a lot more positive than they feel right now. With a manager that's pushing us, and that the fans are behind. And I think it's an opportunity for us to do with this group is to, prove a lot of people wrong. What happens and what the fans vent their frustrations at is completely up to them, and we'll never step in the way of that. But we need to move forward as a club and as a group, and keep giving the fans wins to cheer for, and hopefully make them and help them focus on a positive team on the pitch.
The reason I say toxic, one banner in particular had a target at Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell in terms of at their heads. Is that too far?
Yeah, I'm not. We know that, and we're all aware that the banners have been there, the different things, and we've also seen the amazing tifos that they've put up. There's a balance to it. I'm not going to get involved in it. The fans pay their hard-earned money to come and watch us and what they expect to see on the pitch. Listen, it's never nice. We don't want to be in this situation where there is that. I want to be here, and I want to see this team and the fans as a real unity together, being successful, and having some incredible times together, which we have done and I've experienced, and perhaps we haven't as a group yet, but it's a possibility, and we can achieve that. So I'm going to stay away from that, because it's a difficult time for the club, and everyone's entitled to their frustrations and their way of venting it. as players, we need to focus on what we need to do, and that's play on the pitch.
Just a word on Dundee as well. Shown that when they play against the bigger teams, they can rise to it. How tough a match are you expecting, Swindens?
Expecting a tough one. You know, it's never easy, and obviously at the minute, because of our own performances, teams perhaps feel like they've got more of a chance. That's something that we need to stamp out quick, and we can do that by going there on the weekend and putting together a really good performance and taking away the 3 points from them, and come back down the road with a win. And that's the only thing that we can do, is focus on that. I'm sure they'll rise to it. I'm sure they will put out a plan and be as good as they can possibly be. But we have to believe and know that we're better, and we need to go there and win the game.
Jack, it's obviously been a difficult start to the campaign. How do you reflect on your own performances so far this year?
Listen, I'm my own harshest critic. I've been really pleased. I think in a lot of games I've made some really important moments for us as a club. But I'm also the first person to question any little thing in a game. So I'm always pushing that. Believe I've made really important contributions to the team this year, and I'm really focused on trying to do that going forward as well.
And given that there's so much noise off the park in terms of referees, in terms of protests and such, how do you as a senior player and how do the squad as a whole try and channel that into something positive on the park?
You're right. It can galvanise a team sometimes when you're up against it. As players, as individuals, you have to stand up to it. Experienced boys leading by example, trying to perform themselves and help the others out. And ultimately around the building here, picking people up today, because I'm sure there'll be a few that are feeling a bit low. But we have to go again. We have to bounce back from that. So that's a responsibility of an experienced player in this group. To process the disappointment of last night, and pick everyone up, be positive, because there's a game around the corner that we need to win. Fully believe that we will do. So yeah, experienced player, lead by example, pick the lads up that need it today, and go again with an opportunity to play for this club and get 3 wins in a row in the league, and create some positivity in that sense and kick on after the break.
Last couple, guys.
Jack, do you as a group sort of feel right now that you've maybe been written off in a sense by people looking in, even within the Rangers support itself to an extent? And if so, how can you use that maybe to do what you're just saying, pick everyone up and kick on?
I think the statement of the fans prior to the game yesterday shows that no one's given up on anything, and they haven't given up on their team. That's certainly not how we feel. You know, your fans don't go to that amount of effort to turn up, and the tifos and the support that you get, you know, they're always behind us and they're going to be there. So as players, that's something amazing to have, but we have to bring it. It's not. It's a difficult time, but it's one where you have an opportunity to stand up. The club's always going to be under the microscope. As players, you're always under the microscope with your performance, with the results. It's about sticking your chest out and getting on with it and standing up to the challenge and being better. So that's all we can do as a group. That's the message, and that's all that there is to focus on is us.
Jack, with regards to last Sunday, did you speak to Nick Walsh at the end of the game? A reason I ask is presumably you guys are just seeking for clarity, you're seeking consistency of decisions. When you think back to Tannadice last season, the same referee sent off Mohamed Diomande for seemingly less serious collision, if you like. Is that something you tried to speak to the officials about it during the game, at the end of the game?
Spoke to him about it at half-time. Not at the end of the game because, listen, the game's been and gone at that point. I was looking for some clarity at the time. I'm not going to go into individuals and whether we've got a different referee this weekend, and obviously hoping the standard is top. Like I said, I think it's just it's a situation where between the referee and all the staff that you're looking for communication between them, calm communication between them, that they go through things and come to the right decision. Obviously since then, and the statements that have been made is that they're happy with that. And if that's the way that they're going, then it's got to continue like that.
Last one.
Jack, can I just ask, obviously I think you've got another year on your contract beyond this. I mean, given the way things are going, the frustrations, the difficulties the team have, I think you came here to win medals. You've only achieved one of that so far. I mean, do you have any thoughts on your long-term future? Would you like to stay here beyond the terms of your current deal?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'd like to think people can see that in the way that I am, and the way that I approach my time here, and the way that I apply myself on and off the pitch for this club as someone that's committed to this club. Like I said, I still have another year after this. The focus is on winning games and no more than that on the weekend. For me, I joined here for a reason. I still have that belief and I still have that desire to do that. And with over a year and a half left, there's really nothing to discuss other than the fact of getting my head down and trying to be as good as I can for this club.